Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Mythic, brought to you today with the AZ Sports Fan. Man, appreciate you for hopping on. Today, we are going to be discussing the Arizona Cardinals, our realistic expectations, and there's not a lot going on, man. But yesterday, a little bit of drama popped off. I know you touched on it as well. First things first, how are you feeling about that? What are you thinking about Bryce Butler coming here and just basically trashing our quarterback?
Bryce, who? I'm just kidding. No, honestly, that's kind of what everybody was talking about. All my comments, right? Because I made a video about that too, and everybody was like, "Who's Bryce Butler?" Right? And it's one of those really weird things where like I don't even understand like why he had Kyler Murray's disrespect to that level. Because I truly feel like if he just gave the list and said, "Okay, Kyler Murray's 10," right? Okay, I don't think people would talk about it, but he went in depth and detail and still talked about all these crazy old takes that we heard about in 2020 and 2021. Oh, he plays games, homework addendum, all this stuff that was old school Kyler Murray. And I think I can kind of agree that, the maturity level needed to get better. But like since Jonathan Gannon has got here, I don't think anybody can deny the fact that his maturity level is completely skyrocketed, has completely got better. And it might have been because of Jonathan Gannon. It might have been because of his injury that he happened. And, he had to sit out the most of the season, or I guess half the season for 2022. So maybe that kind of, or 2023, I apologize. Maybe that kind of, set that into his head of, hey, I really got to lock down and hone into my leadership skills, because I've honestly seen a better and much more mature Kyler Murray with this whole JG regime compared to Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh, I agree. It's night and day from the Cliff Kingsbury era to the Jonathan Gannon era. And it's kind of crazy because it always seems like every offseason there's one player who just comes in here and trashes Kyler. Last offseason or 2 offseasons ago, it was LaShawn McCoy. He went on, I don't remember where it was. I think it was I Am Athlete, his like podcast or whatever, and just absolutely ripped him one. Talking about, oh, he plays like a high schooler. He's not good, blah, 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 blah. It's just like every offseason. And now we get a practice squad receiver who didn't make the team in 2018. Got cut on one of the worst Cardinals teams imaginable.
Yeah.
And he's coming here and just ripping a new one. And he's basically acting like he has like inside sources or whatever. I don't know what kind of inside sources you gather together in a training camp, but apparently he's got it all. And he's boots on the ground in Arizona. So, like, I don't know. Just watching that whole thing, it's just crazy. And, like, if you rank him at 10 or whatever and you just aren't that high on him, do you. Everyone's subject to your own opinion. But, like, at the end of the day, he was just ripping him to shreds for no reason at all.
That's what the issue was. And I think that's kind of what got to me, because like you said a little earlier, if he has it at 10, okay, cool. Wash it off. We're good. Everybody's got their opinion. But, like, the way he went in, like, that was the problem. And we're talking about a practice squad, right? And I think Kyler Murray even came out and responded to him as well. Call him one of the best athletes, obviously being, sarcastic. But like it's crazy. I don't know. Honestly, I forgot about Sean McCoy even coming back and talking crazy about Kyler as well. I really do hope that we see Kyler Murray like we saw in that, undefeated season, or I guess not the full season, but when we're like 7-0. I hope we see that Kyler Murray in 2024.
I do too. And then speaking of Kyler Murray, let's go ahead and transition a little bit. How do you think Kyler performs? Full training camp, full off season, kind of has the footwork down of playing under center for a little bit. People don't know. Kyler played shotgun his whole life. I've mentioned this a couple times. This is his first time taking snaps under center in a new regime, learning a new offense. I think he did pretty well. He had like 13 total touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Like, that's not that bad of a season, especially coming off a major injury like an ACL. So with the full training camp, what are your expectations? Just give me like a brief prediction on stats and how you think he'll impact the game.
Well, I mean, I think he is the most impactful player on this offense. I mean, to be honest with you, I know some people might say Marvin Harrison Jr., but like Kyler's got the ball every single snap, right? Or unless it's a run play to James Conner or Benson or whoever's going to be the number 2 running back, Michael Carter. But he is the most impactful player on this offense, so we need him to be franchise quarterback-esque. And I think I've heard a lot of people come out here, and my expectation is we better be a 9+ win team, because he's labeled as a franchise quarterback for a reason, and not just because he's paid. I think there's a lot of high hopes and a lot of praises from Kyler Murray, from Jonathan Gannon. We also heard Drew Petzing come out and said that he's gotten better, and just his footwork and everything's like looking good. And of course we're kind of getting like little snippets here and there of the OTAs and minicamp, and it gets people excited, right? Especially those slow motion throws to Marvin Harrison Jr. There's absolutely no reason for the Arizona Cardinals to not have more than 8+ plus wins. I mean, I guess you could say 7 plus wins, because I think we mentioned this before, and maybe a prior podcast, is if we only have 5 to 6 wins, that would absolutely feel like an absolute failure. Like it would. Like we got 17 games, got a franchise quarterback fully healthy. To start the season, we have to have 8 plus wins. I guess 7 plus wins, however you want to call it. But anything other than that would be very disappointing. And I'm very curious to figure out what this organization is going to do if that's going to be the way that it shakes out. But I'm not looking at it that way, because I do think that the Cardinals are going to make a huge impact this year. There's a lot of teams, especially in the NFC West, sleeping on the Cardinals. The Seahawks, for some reason, feel like they're going to be a better team than the Cardinals when they have Geno Smith. Now, I do like Matthew Stafford and the Rams, but you don't know if Matthew Stafford's going to give you a full healthy year. Now, yes, I guess you could say the same thing for Kyler Murray as well, but Matthew's getting older, right? And then you got Brock Purdy. Are they going to go through a hangover? So there's a lot of kind of issues to kind of talk about just within our division on its own. But, you know, I guess the elephant in the room is the gauntlet that we're going to be talking about for our schedule to start the season a little later on. But my expectations, honestly, is 7 plus, 8 plus wins for this Arizona Cardinals team. And how I predict this NFC to be weak, I think that can at least get us sniffing the playoffs. I think maybe 8 to 9 might be more realistic to kind of get into the back end into the playoffs. I feel like that would be a must if you want to get into the playoffs. And I feel like the Cardinals can do it if Kyler Murray can stay healthy throughout the year. So expectations for his stats. I've been hyping up Kyler Murray a lot. I really want to see 30 plus touchdowns. I really do. Even if it's a mix between his rushing and throwing, I really want to see 30 plus touchdowns from Kyler Murray. And I want to see over 3,500 yards, honestly, passing. Even if it's 3,000 passing, that would be fantastic. I know we're going to be leaning more onto the run game. We heard Drew Petzing talk about that. We probably will be more of a run. I don't want to say run heavy, because like when you see a run heavy, you probably think like 75%, but like, I think we're going to be more like 65%, or heck, maybe even 60% run compared to maybe like your 40% or 45% throwing. So I know that might kind of affect Kyler Murray, but like, if you have an effective running game, that opens up everything: play action, bootlegs, all these different things that we can go ahead and do. So I expect a very, very healthy, good year from Kyler Murray. If I'm going to throw a number out there, I want to see 30 plus touchdowns, and I want to see, and like I said, that's a mix between him rushing as well as throwing, and I want to see it 3,000 passing from Kyler.
I like that. I think that's pretty fair. If we can get somewhere, I'm thinking like 3,300 passing yards, maybe like 350 rushing, just somewhere close to 4,000 total.
Yeah,
that's a W. That's an absolute W. And then honestly, 30 touchdowns, anywhere from like 27 to 30, like 2 is a sweet spot for me.
That's
if you
fair.
can land anywhere with rushing and passing combined, I think you're going to win a lot of games, because we are going to rely a lot on the run. So I think James Conner is going to pound in a lot of touchdowns. Kyler Murray is going to get a lot of goal line shots as well. I mean, we have a 6'4" receiver now. All of our receivers got taller. So hopefully our red zone offense improves, because it has been abysmal for the past like 4 or 5 seasons. Under Cliff, it felt like we got into the red zone and we were just dead. We just couldn't get it in. If it wasn't James Conner getting it in, we weren't getting it in. That's just kind of how it was. So hopefully with these big body receivers, new regime, new everything, Drew Petzing is able to cook up something and get us in the end zone a lot more. And I think the expectation for Kyler Murray is honestly spot on. It's just health. If he stays healthy, we are going to shock a lot of people. And that transitions pretty well into the next topic. And that is going to be our schedule. How are you feeling about it? I know we've discussed it a couple times on the pod. We've discussed it a ton, probably both on separate channels, but together. How are you feeling looking at this schedule right here?
It's a tough schedule. It really is. But I mean, expectation, like we said, like if you want to be a playoff team, these are the teams you need to beat, right? So we can't shy away from competition. I get starting off with the Bills isn't ideal, but if you want to be positive, right, where we're going over to Buffalo in September the 8th, right? So you're not really dealing with those snowy, yucky weather, affected type of games. So I guess if you want to look at a highlight, that's a good thing, right? So, but it is unfortunate to start off with the Bills, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in Josh Allen over there, although he has lost some weapons and that team has lost a lot of talent. You have Josh Allen, you have a chance to win. And then you got the Rams that seem to have our number every single year since the Sean McVay era. And then you got a Lions team, which has aspirations for the Super Bowl. So it's not an easy way to start the season, but it kind of loosens up a little bit just on game 4 with the Commanders, because then we got the 49ers and then the Packers. And obviously, I'm not going to deep dive into all of them, but like it's a tough schedule. But if the Cardinals want to be a competitive team, if the Cardinals want to be a playoff team, these are the teams you have to beat, right? There's no more excuses. If we have Kyler Murray fully healthy, we need to establish eight wins is the floor for this Arizona Cardinal team. And we got to take advantage of the NFC West. We have to. There's a brand new regime in the Seahawks right now. If you can't take advantage of that, then like it would just be more frustrations amongst this fan base in the Cardinals fan base. You got to take advantage of that. Hopefully Brock Purdy regresses. Hopefully Matthew Stafford doesn't have a good season. He's a very good quarterback. So I know it's kind of hard to say that, but I don't know. It's a tough schedule. I guess that's the best way to say it. But the Cardinals want to be a playoff team. They got to beat these teams.
I absolutely agree. And one thing that is kind of nice too is we do play a ton of rookie quarterbacks, and Bryce Young is entering year 2. So we're getting him, we're getting Caleb Williams, we're getting Drake May and Jaden Daniels and Cliff. So like the schedule is tough, but like at the same time, we have a lot of room to capitalize on these rookie quarterbacks. And man, I said this, I'm pretty sure we said it on the pod. I wanted Caleb Williams a lot earlier than we get him. I think we get him week 8, week 9. Man, if we could have got him like week 1, 2, or 3, I would have been so happy. I'm fine with playing Buffalo. Right off the rip. If they struggle, they're going to struggle early. We don't have to play them snowy. We don't have to play them super cold. Their number 1 target is Keon Coleman right now. I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to be pretty good. But, like, it's going to take time to build that connection. I think they're going to do it over the season. So, hopefully they struggle early. But, man, the schedule is not easy whatsoever. Hopefully Seattle's not good. That's, like, my biggest finger crosses. A lot of people, for some reason, are saying Seattle is going to be pretty solid. I don't see it. But, I mean, hey. What do I know? I think the Cardinals are going to be good.
It's a lot of the Seahawks fans, if I'm going to be honest. But I mean, yeah, that's a great point for the whole the rookie quarterbacks. I mean, you're playing 4 rookie quarterbacks in 2024. I mean, if you can't take advantage of that, then I feel like we're having some issues there, right? Because you got potentially JJ McCarthy here with the Vikings. Caleb Williams is a starter as long as he can stay healthy. And then you got second year Bryce Young, obviously not a rookie, but Drake May if he starts. If he doesn't, then no. But you got a real good opportunity here, and then Jaden Daniels in the beginning of the season. So like you got to take advantage of those must wins or games that you should win for the Cardinals, and that's going to be a way for you to sneak into the playoffs by taking advantage of those wins.
Do you think this is a year the Cardinals end up making like a wild card spot and kind of shock people? Do you think we're going to be able to push like 9-10 wins?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing too. Like I know that I'm on all social medias. I'm not heavily involved in TikTok as much, but like Instagram, X, YouTube, and I'm seeing a lot of Arizona Cardinal fans that still have that doubt. And I get it, right? A lot of people, they don't want to set themselves too high because they don't want to hurt at the end of the season, because it's an emotional roller coaster. NFL in the season is, especially if you're a team, almost at the playoffs, and if you don't make it, it hurts, right? Even if you're a crappy team, but at least you got something to look forward to as the draft. I fully expect the Arizona Cardinals to win as much games as they possibly can. Like, I don't expect Jonathan Gannon to come out here and say, oh, we're only in year 2, right? This is progress. No, he wants to win. Budda Baker wants to win. James Conner wants to. Kyler Murray wants to win. If he could stay healthy, I can definitely very well see him have a very, very good season with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we did upgrade, some positions here. I guess I'm not sure if you call them upgrade, but we did plug in some new players on our offensive line, which helps out, right? Jonah Williams. We're bringing back Will Hernandez, and I believe Isaiah Adams might be a starter. I'm not 100% sure. I saw him on the depth chart, maybe not, but we'll see exactly what happens in that position. And we're making that switch finally with Paris Johnson and Jonah. So we got Paris Johnson starting on left per Jonathan Gannon, and on the right, it's going to be Jonah Williams, at least for now, until he makes his decision to switch back up.
Yeah. See, I like that. And it's either Evan Brown or Isaiah Adams at left guard. It's going to be a competition. A lot of people are hyping up Evan Brown too for being just insanely strong, just freaking nature. So like either way it swings, I trust their decision. But like I feel like every position, the floor was raised like completely. Like every position is better on this team. And Kyler even is better because he's going to be healthy the full season.
Yeah.
So like I'll take that. That is an absolute win. I think the Cardinals are going to shock a lot of people. And when we do, I mean, I'm all for it because like I've seen the floor like, oh, this is a 5-6 win team. Like how do you see that? Like, I don't get it, because a lot of people within the NFL kind of understand the Cardinals are on the rise. So let's see if we could build off last year a little bit and kind of piggyback off that and hopefully improve. But with the NFC West being kind of weird this year, I'm not going to lie. Like the 49ers kind of seem like they're like one season away from blowing up. Like Brandon Ayuk is trying to get out of there. Just everyone's not believing in Brock Purdy. How many years does Christian McCaffrey have left? Dre Greenlaw got hurt last year. They're going to have money problems. Like, I don't know how this is going to play out. And then you have Seattle, just completely new regime, kind of have a lot of the same foundational pieces. The Rams, obviously, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, but they just lost Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
That is like the guy they just relied on. Like, just throw him in on defense. He's going to wreck the game. Like him alone. Like, they're just Aaron Donald merchants. They can't do that anymore. It's going to be very difficult for that team defensively, I think, this year. Or it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period because you don't have that guy literally sitting in the middle of the offensive line getting double teamed 24/7. It's going to be a lot more difficult. So how do you think this pans out for the NFC West? What do you think is going to happen? And who do you think is finishing 1, 2, 3, and 4?
So 4, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna say Seahawks. I think they're gonna be the bottom of the division. Biggest reason as to why is new regime. And then Geno Smith. I know they brought in Sam Howell as well, but like, I don't know. Like, they got good wide receivers and they got a good running back as well. It's just health. Can he stay healthy? Right? Can Geno Smith replicate the playoff push and the resurgence of his career when he got into the Seahawks? Now last year wasn't that great. But like, I don't know. I see them as a team that's not so great, but I still put them at like 6-7 wins. Or maybe that's just 6 wins, but like that's not a great team, but it's also not the bottom of the barrel type of team. But I do think the way it's going to shake out is I still do think that the 49ers are the number 1 clear consensus. They're going to go like they're set up for the Super Bowl. Like they're going to go as far as Brock Purdy takes them. Now if he falls flat in his face, they're not going to go anywhere. Now they can ride Christian McCaffrey, but we've seen injuries from Christian McCaffrey, especially if they ride him too much, right? We've seen it in Carolina. So we'll exactly see what happens there. But right now I feel like they are the favorites to win the West. I would love to say the Cardinals. I really would, but like I still do think overall they got a really good team. Now I kind of go back and forth right now with the Rams and the Cardinals being number 2 and number 3. Biggest reason as to why is that what I need to see first is I need to see the Cardinals beat the freaking Rams consistently. I think I did a kind of a real quick research back in 2017 when they hired Sean McVay. He's had our number, and it's not even fair. It's almost like 85%, 90% that he's beaten the Arizona Cardinals, and it's actually getting to the point where it's frustrating to see that over and over again. So it's hard for me right now in May, and we got 2 more months before the season and 3 months to the regular season. It's hard for me to say the Cardinals are going to be higher in the standings than the Rams, unless this Matthew Stafford gets hurt, right? And nobody's wishing upon anybody getting hurt, but I'm just saying, unless that happens, it's hard for me to say the Cardinals are going to be number 2. So what I'm thinking is that I think it's going to be the 49ers. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be the Rams, and I think the Cardinals are going to be the 3, but I don't think it's going to be anything to the point where you have anything to be upset about, Cardinal fans. I think the Cardinals are really going to be playing this close. I think we're going to be 1 or 2 games away from first. I think we're going to be 1 game away from second. So like people look at third, and I've been reading my comments because I even made this prediction here on the Roundtable Sports NFC West kind of roundtable that we have, and people were like, "Oh, well, Mike put us at third. He doesn't believe in us." But like, I have us at 10 wins, 9-10 wins. That's still a really good season. Like this could be an opportunity for 3 teams in the NFC West to get themselves in the playoffs. So like we're 1 season away to not maybe 2 seasons away if Kyler Murray can continue to be the guy to potentially make a Super Bowl push, right, for the Cardinals organization. But I think right now the next step is playoffs. And I'm not sneezing it away at the opportunity of being third, because if we got 10 wins in a very stacked up NFC West, I think it's a W. So I guess recap: 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, and then Seahawks at the bottom.
I think that's what I agree with, but I think a wild card in the rankings, I think the Cardinals and 49ers could compete for first. I agree with your standings, but like this is just hypothetical. Like this is something I could also see is Cardinals, 49ers competing for first. I could see the Rams falling off and finishing 4th. I really could. I don't know why, but something about losing Aaron Donald is just going to be kind of monumental for that defense. And who knows? Who knows what that offense is looking like? I do like Matthew Stafford. I believe in him, but who knows, right? I mean, they do have 2 great receivers. I'm not sure. I really am not. But like, it is a good team on paper. But if the defense steps up, then obviously they could be number 1. They really could. They could shock people. But I'm gonna say they could finish 4. Seattle 3. Arizona, San Fran could be interchangeable 1 and 2.
Well,
think
I
that's
hope you're
possible.
right. I hope you're
Man, I
right.
hope I'm right too. I hope I'm right too.
Because honestly, the only team I see that gets us from that second spot obviously is the Rams. But if we have a downfall of the Rams, then yeah, Cardinals. Damn, that would be amazing. I hope you're right.
Man, I do too. But I think this is going to be a good year for us.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. I think the Cardinals have made strides to make this team better offensively and defensively. And I get there's a lot of Cardinal fans that are naysayers. Just let's see what happens in the first 3 games. I feel like we're gonna punch the Bills in the mouth, and they're not going to expect it.
I think so too. I think we're going to shock people. One last thing before we wrap it up: score predictions for Week 1.
Ooh. Honestly, this week 1, and I'm not sure if you got the same vibe, but this week 1 really reminds me a lot of week 1 versus the Titans, where a lot of people didn't give us the opportunity. They're like, oh, you're not going to, King Henry's going to shut you down. I feel like this is going to be very, very similar. Now, I don't think in terms of like the score is going to be similar, but I feel like they're going to be shell shocked in terms of how good our run game is going to be. And I feel like we're going to be dominating time of possession. I feel like they're going to be putting points up because Josh Allen is Josh Allen. So I think that the way this game's going to shake out, I think the Cardinals will win, right? Blindly optimistic. I'm going to say 28 Cardinals to 21 Bills.
I like that. Oh, man. I'm going to say Cardinals win too. I think I'm pretty confident in that. I'm going to say the Cardinals win. Oh, I'm feeling 23 to 17.
Okay.
Cardinals win. I think I'm pretty confident in that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling a Cardinals win though. Like
I think
either
one
way.
of our young cornerbacks are going to get a pick off of Josh Allen.
I think it's gonna be Max Melton or Garrett Williams. I'm feeling it too.
Amazing.
I feel it too.
Yeah.
I feel like Josh Allen is gonna throw 1 or 2 picks.
Yeah.
And I feel like Buda's gonna kill it this season. Just super underrated player this year. I feel like now, like our corners aren't fantastic, but Sean Murphy Bunting and the rookies we got, I feel like are gonna be way better. And people were coming for Buda last year. They were talking crazy.
Yeah.
They wanted him gone. People still want him gone. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I still hear it.
He's a massive run support safety, right? That's where he thrives, is in the run support, coming up, blitzing off the edge, just kind of wrecking havoc in the run, just kind of being that second level defense. And he is a good cover safety as well, but like that's just not where he like excels the most. So I feel like with corner help, Buda Baker's gonna kill it, and he's gonna kind of resurge, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, what happened? Oh, Buda's good." Like Buda's always been good. It's just our team sucked last year, and he kind of had to cover a lot of gaps.
Yeah,
he's not gonna have to do that. Hopefully this season.
It's truly a sport that you need every 11 people or all 11 players on the field to do their job in order for you guys to succeed. Let me ask you a real quick question. I know you wanted to close up. What do you feel like is the weakest point on this team, if offensively or defensively?
Oh,
weakest point.
The weakest point,
or I guess the most unknown.
I would probably say edge.
Yes,
edge is a little weird because it all depends on how BJ Ojulari steps into his own, which I think he is going to. But it's like he has to step up, and then who outside of him is really going to be that second guy? Is it going to be Zaven Collins? Because it could be Zaven.
I think it's Zaven. Yeah,
I don't hate that. Like I really don't. It's just he's not a pass rusher. So how many sacks are we really going to get? I'm not sure. Because that is huge, is getting pressure on the quarterback. Are we going to be able to do that? That's kind of my one knock on this team. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think the run defense is going to be a lot better. I think we're going to be able to cover a lot better. But are we going to be able to get to the quarterback? I'm not sure. And that's a little scary.
Yeah. I know our secondary can very well benefit from having a very good pass rush. And as of right now, where the Cardinals are standing, I think Zaven and BJ Ojulari most likely will be the two, unless they do decide to put Darius Robinson in the edge. But like I see him more on the inside. But like, heck, honestly, like at this point, I'm willing to kind of see whoever, right? I mean, we also did get Miles Murphy. I believe he was one of the undrafted guys, and we got Xavier Thomas as well out of Clemson. So look, we got some potential, guys, but like, we've always been kind of riding potential. So like, I agree with you. I think one of the most unknown is definitely edge. And I know people love to kind of bring up the idea that, we got Dennis Gardick. I love Dennis Gardick. I love his personality. I love him as a player. It's just, I'm talking about freaking Chandler Jones. Like when he was at his peak with the Cardinals, that's what I'm talking about. Like 15 plus sacks in a season is just what I'm looking for. And right now, unless BJ Ojulari steps the heck up, like big time, I don't see a 10 sack player on this roster, unfortunately.
I could see like BJ cracking 8, but like
That would still be
man,
respectable. I would love
it would be, but it's like there's not many people where I'm like, I don't think Zaven Collins is going to go out there and get 8 sacks. That's not the kind of player. He's just kind of just a run edge supporter who is very smart. Like that's the thing with Zaven. I don't hate the move to edge. I feel like he played his best football. But man, I wish it worked out at Mike. I really do. I really do. And maybe we see Mac Wilson with versatility pop out on the edge.
True.
Darius Robinson has the versatility to go play edge as well.
True.
I mean, Dennis Gardick is cool for a couple plays. You expect like 2-3 sacks out of him. Like, I mean, he is productive, right? I mean, he started the season insane last year, but like he's a backup edge. It's just what he is. It's good depth, great depth. I love him for energy, just what he brings to the team, but he's just not a starting edge.
Yeah.
And it's just very iffy right now. We just got to hope BJ Ojulari steps up. But, man, appreciate you for hopping on today. Great chopping it up. I mean, the Cardinals, we are hoping do way better. For the sake of our sanity, for the sake of everything, we are hoping we don't have to hop on week in and week out and just talk negative about the Cardinals. We're sick of it. We want wins. We need it. Instill it into our blood. Mike, appreciate you for hopping on. If you guys do want to check him out, I'll let you shout out where they could find you.
Absolutely. Everything AZ Sports Fan. You can look up on Instagram, X, YouTube. That's where the main podcast lives. Search up the AZ Sports Fan. You should be able to find me on there.
Absolutely. And then if you guys want to subscribe to the channel and you enjoy content like that, go ahead and smack up the subscribe button. We are so close to 6,000 subscribers. So smack it up, like up the video. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. But with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. It's been your boy Mythic and Mike. Peace out.